Hello and welcome to Tank and AFE News. My name's Tom, and today we are looking at Tankcraft series Hetzer, Jagdpanzer 38 tank destroyer, German Army and Waffen SS, Western Front, 1944 to 45. This is by Dennis Oliver, who's written quite a few of these Tankcraft books that we've looked at, particularly the ones that deal with World War II vehicles. As with all the other books in the series, it's 64 pages, softcover, $24.95 in the United States and $16.99 in the United Kingdom. So, without further ado, let's just dive into these books. If you've seen these reviews I've done before on these, this will be very familiar. You've got your index and publishing notes printed on the inside of the front page so that they're not wasting any space, which is nice. Dives right into a history of the vehicle. That is about 4 pages, talking about the development of the vehicle, addressing the controversy over the name Hetzer. Here's a nice little production chart by factory and type, and quite a few of these were built toward the end of the war. Of course, this was a pretty common vehicle in the last year of the war. And then he gets into just listing all the different Abteilungs, the Panzerjäger Abteilungs, battalions that is, that would that were equipped with these units. And here we have also some organizational charts showing how these battalions were laid out. So certainly an interesting and useful resource if you are curious about the individual battalions that were equipped with Hetzers. So if you wanted to make sure you had the right battalion markings on the model kit you're building, because of course these books are primarily made for model makers. So we'll flip ahead here through the historic section a little bit, and as you can see, it's just, here's another organizational chart, and then you get to the color paintings here, the plates that sort of show different camouflage and unit marking schemes used during the war. These are nice examples for people that are doing a model of the Hetzer if they want to know what the thing should be painted like and the markings. And so quite a few different examples with notes on each of them. That's very useful. And then we get into the actual models themselves. So starting off here with a 148 scale model, which it's a little different. Usually you run into 135 or 172. But obviously there's some 148 kits available for this particular vehicle. And there's a lot of, any German World War II stuff, there's going to be a lot of options as far as kits. But this shows just the different stages as this particular one was built. Here we have one in 135th scale. Obviously these people are all much better at building models and painting them than I am. The painting part is the part that I was always particularly bad at, but it's just, if you look at the level of detail on this, is really quite nice. These people know what they're doing, that's for sure. Here is another 135th scale one, and another 148 scale. So it gives you a fairly good idea of what these models can look like when they're done by somebody who really is sort of at the top of their game. And then it gets into reviews of the actual kits that are out there. So I feel like I skipped a page here or something. No, I guess not. So of course, we got Airfix, we got Revell, Tamaya, Trumpeter, Tagliari, all these different model kits that are out there. If you need a review of them, this book will be helpful. And then here toward the end, it gets back into the list of the different battalions, so the historical section of the book. And so that's kind of nice, because that's something I don't have. I personally have other resources on the Hetzer and more substantial works than this one, and so this sort of fills a nice niche because these lists of the individual battalions is something I did not have in my library. So for people that are interested in just like historical resources on the Hetzer, this book does offer that. And then here in the back it talks about the different production models and the differences. And it's not a vehicle that changed radically during its production run, but there are, as with any vehicle, in particular the German vehicles, as production goes along, there's little changes introduced, and particularly toward the end of the war, where changes are being sort of forced out by necessity. So here at the end we have different resources, looks like different listings for model clubs and makers, different books in the series, and that's pretty much it. So that's in a nutshell, Hetzer, Tankcraft. So a nice little book. I'm glad to add it to my collection. Like I said, has something I think to offer for people that are interested in both the historical aspect and resources for this vehicle, as well as model builders looking to make a kit of this really, one of the more interesting and in some ways unusual tanks of the war. I mean, it's certainly one of the most creative recycling projects, I'll put it that way, taking the sort of pre-war Panzer 38 chassis and reworking it as much as they could to create a late war tank destroyer. So, all right, on that, I will say goodbye, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you much.